Let's place the marker in the first row where we're doing marker placement here to leave for ourselves for later. So we are going to need a removable stitch marker. And as ever, we're going to slip the first stitch with the yarn in front. Then we'll knit 2 together on this row. And then we're going to place the removable stitch marker on the bump at the base of the next stitch. So grab your removable stitch marker, slide it through the bump at the base of the stitch, like that, and then proceed on with the rest of the row. So now you will knit that stitch regularly, and that removable stitch marker will remain here for us to use later. Here we are ready to do the next stitch marker row. So we're going to slip the first stitch with the yarn in front, and then place the stitch marker in this bump here, the bump at the base of the next stitch. You could actually leave the stitch on this needle. Might make it a lot easier to deal with, rather than having one stitch kind of floating tenuously on one needle. If I just go through this second stitch and lock that in. Wow, that's a lot easier. All right, so I will now slip this one with the yarn in front and then work across. So we've marked the stitch, and then if you trace, you'll see that it's the same column of stitches, and that really just helps us break out and note where we're going to be doing what we need to do. The last 2 rows here get a little funky, but because what we're trying to do is we're trying to really round off this shape. And so we've got a little few tricks here that we're going to do to try to really create a rounded edging here. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to do what we've always done. We're going to slip the first stitch with the yarn in front, and we're going to knit the next stitch. And now using our left needle, we're going to pass the second stitch here, the outer stitch, over the inner stitch. Now we're going to knit 1. And now we're going to use the right needle tip to grab the outer stitch on the left needle here and pass it up and over the inner stitch, and then we'll knit that stitch. And that takes us down to 3 stitches. So we've passed the outside over the inside on both edges of this, taking us down to 3 stitches. So as ever, we're going to slip this first stitch with the yarn in front, knit these 2 together, and then we're going to pass this slipped stitch over the inner stitch. All right, so that still does look a little pointy, but there are ways we can make this look a little more rounded again. So we're going to cut this yarn long enough so we can weave in the end. Now I want to pull on this loop until that yarn comes through. Let's just see, why is this not working? Usually you can just pull on this and it just zips right out, but it's just really fighting me today. So you can see here we've got a nice rounded edge, and we're going to weave in the end to the left to try to complete this curve, and then we'll tidy up this little extra blippy hole there at the same time. So we want to go in this direction here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under both legs of the next stitch. So you can see my yarn, my stitch is kind of coming out of this stitch here. We're going to skip that one, and we're going to go to this one and go under it. Okay, so that's pulling that over, and it's always good to go and look at the front of the work just to make sure that we like what we're seeing. So I do like what I'm seeing. So now I'm going to work from the front of the work so I can really make sure I'm doing a good job of keeping things beautiful. And what I want to do is I've got this open gap here. So here is the bump, and you can see this is the top of that hole, this bit right here. And so I'm going to go under the bump beside it. Go through that, and I can see right there that's actually the knit 2, it's a knit 2 together or an SSK. It's one of our decreases. And then I'm going to go over where that top bit was at the top of the hole. and I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to pull on it, and that should pull the top of that down and kind of fill up that hole. So I'm going to go through to the other side now, not going through the hole, but actually going through the fabric to the side of the hole. I'm going to tug on this, make sure I like what I'm seeing. Everything's looking pretty good. That's a pretty smooth, rounded edge. And now I'm going to weave in the end. So I can do whatever I want. This might be opening up a little bit, so maybe I'm going to go and I'm just going to snag through that ply a little bit, come down somewhere else, snagging that a little bit, and just close that up. So let's see how that's looking. From the back, it's not too bad, and from the front, it looks good. So now I feel like I can weave in these ends, or this end. We're going to leave this one for later. And so I'm just going to go up and away from this bottom bit, because there's very few stitches to weave to use to weave in. So now that I'm up and away, I'm just going to do a little bit of like sort of a duplicate stitch weaving in. So I'm going to go here to here. I'm going to split through this ply right here. Then I'm going to go down. So I split this one. I'm going to go down here. This yarn now goes under these two stitches. Yeah, there are lots of ways to weave in ends. You do the one that makes you happiest. The back of the beard is pretty unlikely to be seen. So if you just want to do a bit of a zigzag maneuver and get your yarn, you could even do a knot and call it good and trim that off. And so now we've got a nice rounded edge for our piece. We'll need piece one, color one, and some needles. I'm going to use both the smaller needles and the larger needles. When we are picking up stitches, picking up using thinner needles is often a lot simpler. We've got all these stitches, and if you have a thinner point going through, it's often easier. But you do need to remember to switch when you actually go to knit to the size called for in the pattern. So let's all hope we remember, right? With the cast on edge towards us, so the bobble edge facing towards me and the bobble up rather than this way. We're going to work on the row where we place the first removable stitch marker. I like to think of stitches as having caps, that's the top of the ridge, and then smiles. So the smiles are the upturned lower parts, just like a smile, and the cap goes on top, just like on a head. So we've marked a cap, and we're going to pick up the caps in this row. If we pick up from top to bottom, then that mounts the right leg of the stitch in the right place for standard knitting approaches. So we just go from top to bottom, grabbing 7 of the caps. That's going to leave the same number of stitches not picked up on either side. So we have a nice centered group of stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so now we can remove this stitch marker, and now we can join color 1. And remember to knit onto the right size needles and then drop this away. If you're particularly paranoid, you could just slip all these onto the right size needles. But I'm going to follow directions and I'm just going to knit all. So I'm going to leave an end long enough to make weaving in ends easy. And then I am just going to knit across these picked up stitches here. All right, so now I have 7 stitches on the needle. They are centered on our piece here, and I'm going to remember to put away my smaller needle. All right, so now I've worked to the end of row 10, and I'm going to weave in the end for my pickup. I'm going to do that on the inside of my pocket here. So making sure that I've pulled it tight so that it is as tight as all the stitches around, I am just going to slide this in here, again, making sure I like the way it looks on the front, and then we can just move along however we want. I think I'm going to do kind of a whip stitch kind of an approach, just slicing through, splitting the plies of the individual bumps as I go. I noticed that this side was a little bit gapy from where I did the make one left, so I'm just going to use my chance to finish that little bit up and just kind of go around that area to tighten it up. I say this, I don't know if it's every video, but anytime you're doing finishing work, you really have a chance to finish things and really tidy things up and make them look as tidy, as beautiful, as tight, or as loose. There's a lot of scope for alteration in these final bits of finishing a knitted project, whether it's a sweater or a gnome. Now in this second marked row, we're going to do the same thing we did the first time. So I'm going to use my smaller needle size again, and I'm going to pick up 7 caps across this row. And unlike our other row, we really are going almost right to the edges. So just make sure that you've picked up every stitch sort of in alignment and that the final one is in alignment with the final one we picked up here. Then we can remove our stitch marker. And now we're going to do a 3 needle bind off. You can leave the smaller needle in for this one, and it doesn't matter for this project that these stitches are in a different color than these ones. What we will do is simply do a 3 needle bind off, holding these in parallel. So going through the first stitch on the first needle, this first stitch on the back needle, knitting them together, sliding it off, repeating that. And then once we have 2 stitches on, I use the back needle to pass this stitch over this stitch. And we just repeat. And this is going to provide a really nice, the trick is always with these is to hold the stitches back from this needle tip as you're working the sort of the bind off part, so that you're not losing stitches on the front needle while you're working on the back needle here. It's going to provide a really nice, tidy line across the bottom of this pocket. It's a really crisp finishing method here. Once I'm down to one final stitch, I'm going to pull that loop out nice and tall and cut the yarn and continue to pull on it so that it is a nice, tidy end. You can see things get a little loose and gappy on the side of a 3 needle bind off. So again, when we weave in this end, I'm going to weave into and across that little gappy bit and fix that up. All right, so we got our beautiful little edge here, and I just need to tidy up this side. So I'm going to go up and into this loop above that stitch that's all loose and floppy. And then I'm going to check to see if that works. Looks like it's tidying it up. So now I'm just going to go inside here, go through this loop, tighten that up. Yep, confirm that it looks good, confirm it looks good. And now I'm going to kind of try to bring this end deeper into the pocket without really opening the pocket up and making it like, so really stretching it out. So if this was a toy, I'd be really tempted to sew a knot or to tie a little knot right now. Mine will be a decoration, so I'm not. So I'm just going to kind of weave up, then weave down in a slightly different spot. If I'm not doing the duplicate stitch method of hiding my ends, I usually weave in 2 directions minimum. Then we can cut that off. This side will be a little more stretched out, but we can just put our finger through and get that even. We can also block this piece, but look at how tidy and sweet that little kangaroo pocket is going to look. How does a gnome get a pocket on its beard? Good question. It's probably magic. They're magical creatures.